Now I remember, and this sounds kind of cheesy, I watched Rocky for the first time, and it legitimately changed my life. I got so motivated and inspired from that movie. That night, I determined, like, I don't want to be like this anymore. I am capable of changing. I can do this. And yeah, I was all fired up from that movie, right? You know, after movies, you get influenced. It was a fire that never went out. It never died in me. That night, I made a routine that I could do in my basement. I didn't know jack about making routines, but I did know is what I wanted. I looked up what muscle groups, right? I wanted to hit everything. I wasn't dumb. Like, I wanted to make sure that I got all my muscle groups in. So that's what I did. And I started working out while I was in my cast. I was on fire. I remember, and we have a wood stove in our house, so and I live in the basement, and that basement was just cooking. Like, all winter we were wearing shorts and tanks in the basement because it was so hot. And that's where I would work out. I worked out in a hot environment in my basement. No room to move around. Just a little bit in a walkway. That's what I did. I would do body squats because I didn't have a barbell to put over my shoulders. When I curled, I would just do one hand. Then eventually when I had lost my cast, I did the other hand too, but with lighter weights. So I had my left hand, which is usually my weaker hand, doing more weight, and my right arm doing like a little baby weight. And I would try and catch up so I didn't get muscular imbalance. People assume, right, when someone is overweight and they want to get in shape, that it's a phase. Everyone kind of knows, like, yeah, okay, I remember the last time you wanted to do this, you know, and I remember how far you got. And I remember being warned, like, you're gonna burn out. Don't overcommit yourself. Don't, like pace yourself. Know your limits. It's like, well, that's half right. You should know your limits, but don't let that fire go out. If you feel on fire about something, you feel that burning passion for something, then who is anyone to tell you to stop? Feed into it. Keep throwing wood into the fire. Don't let that fire go out, is my advice to you if you're planning on losing weight. Because that passion, it doesn't have to go out. Mine never did. It's been 2 years and I'm still going. So what I did was I took initiative, and I realized, like, well, I just went through 12 years of school. I don't know jack about nutrition. I went to phys ed. I loved phys ed. It was my favorite class, but I didn't learn about macronutrients. The most basic thing in nutrition, the building blocks for our energy, for our bodies, why people are fat, didn't learn about it. So I took initiative and I learned about nutrition myself. I learned about macronutrients. And that's one of the reasons why, like I said in my other video, I want to be a phys ed teacher. I want to teach kids about macronutrients. I want to teach them about healthy and active lifestyles. Of course, I'm going to have a curriculum, but I want to be able to teach about easy things. It should be basic human knowledge. Kids in elementary school should know what macronutrients are. They should know what carbs do, what fats do, what proteins do. People don't realize what carbs can do to someone. They can be detrimental or they can be amazing and help you. But it all depends on how you're using them and how you're putting them in your body. This is something that I learned the hard way. This is something that I learned efficiently. So after 1 year of dedication, 1 year of working out, eating like a dog, chicken and rice, I counted my calories. I monitored my macronutrients. I knew what was coming in my body. I knew the work I was putting in. I would determine how many calories I was working with. And that's something that I do advise for someone who's starting off. Once you're a little more experienced, you don't need to count calories so tightly, but I mean, you do what you gotta do. Anyway, after 1 year, I had gotten to a place where I thought I did it. Now, I'm not in a place where I consider my prime. I don't think that I've reached my potential. I'm still working on it today. But I lost a lot of fat. I went from 255 to 210. That's the lowest I've ever been, is 210. And that was a big change for me. It was enough for all of my clothes in my wardrobe to be loose. I had to get new clothes. It was enough that people who hadn't seen me were like, holy crap, Zach. What happened? You leaned out. And people told me that it's inspiring to them. Do you know why it's inspiring to people? Because it's not something you see every day. Because not everyone knows about nutrients. The simplest things, the most impacting things that we can do to our bodies. People don't know about them. They don't know what they can do. That's why I'm all about fitness now. One thing that absolutely killed me though, one thing that you're gonna come into contact to if you're on this fat loss journey, is I reached a point where the scale stayed the same. My progress it dead ended, it stopped. And I just couldn't get it. Yes, your body can get used to things. Your body can get used to exercises and what you're putting into your body, and you have to change it up every once in a while. Something I realized is that as my fat burning went down, my muscle was going up, and I had reached a point where I was putting on muscle and burning fat. I've been that way for a long time. I've just been burning fat and putting on muscle. And it seems like nothing's happening, but there is. Trust me, there's things happening. If the scale stops moving, that can be a bad sign or a good sign. That depends on how well you know your body. And one tip I have for you is to take progress pictures. Once a week, once a month, whatever. Put on shirts in 1 month, and then a couple months later, put it on, take the same picture, and you'll see. It looks like nothing's happening, but things are happening. When you look in the mirror every day, you don't notice. The people around you notice. People who don't see you all the time, they'll notice. So I couldn't tell you how much fat I've lost now. I would argue around 60 pounds, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna get too much into how to stay motivated. That's a subject for a whole nother video. I could talk a whole nother video about staying motivated, and I'm probably going to. So stay tuned for that. But for now, I'm gonna wrap it up, and I'm gonna say, if you're thinking about changing your body in some way, do it. Start now. And a year from now, you are going to be so happy you did. And a month from now, you'll be happy you did. Tomorrow, you'll be happy you did. Because just starting is the hardest part. Because I remember starting and failing, and thinking, all right, screw it. You know, I tried, it's genetics, nothing I can do. But there is something you can do. If your genetics are working against you, you have to work around it. That's just life. We can't all be given the same genetics. You know, I can see a lot of people who have better genetics than me. But I also see that I have better genetics than some people. And that's just how life is. So don't hesitate. Start now. You can do this. There are plenty of things. There are plenty of people, of role models, of influences who can help you. You just have to surround yourself with them. You have to care. Because no one's gonna do this journey for you. Now, I'm not exactly where I wanna be yet, but I'm getting there. Stay tuned. Thanks, guys.